Hey everyone, Ben here. Got a message earlier today from the Great White Brotherhood. It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with light. I heard about them last week, I'd say they came through. Minimal research online, but I think they returned, or the internet returned the name to the Great Brotherhood of Light. Regardless, when they came through to me both times, it's in a riddle. So, a little fun. You can take the riddle and dissect it on your own time or stick around and see my interpretation. I will say, number 3, regardless of where you are, there is a good message on that line. So first off, number 1, to be or not to be, that is the question. Then we have stir the pot, be the pot. Number 3, churn the butter, cream of the crop. Number 4, stir the juice, be the juice. And number 5, a song by Cascade with a K, Be Still, started playing in my head. We'll get into that. And that's pretty much it for the riddle, if you will. So, again, you can take this and dissect it on your own, but I'll go with what I got here. Number 1, to be or not to be. This came through before. I don't remember if I made a video on it. To be honest, I don't remember most of what comes through unless I wrote it down. So, to be or not to be. Shakespeare, of course, we got to live or not to live. What is living? You know, when we really look at it, if we're just getting through, breathing is living. And then just going through the motions is living. Is doing something fun qualified as living? If you were on your last breath, would you look back and say, yeah, you know, I really lived a lot? Did I show myself up for my fullest potential? Obviously, we're going to have struggles and whatnot, and it's not just, hey, I went on vacation this year and that made me happy. What about the rest of the year? You know, how can we actually live is how I'm seeing this. When we're looking at the pot, stir the pot. Naturally, that is kind of agitating someone or instigating, if you will, or a subject, getting a reaction out of something. But then be the pot. Well, if we're instigating on someone or a situation to get a response out of it, or to, a situation, we have to be the situation. But hold on, hang in there. I know this is a little backwards, but it all comes together eventually. Churn the butter. And then we have cream of the crop. So butter, we're taking cream, and we're mixing it, and it's going to separate into a solid and a liquid. We're going to have butterfat, which would be the butter, and then we're going to have buttermilk. But all we wanted was the butter. So we're looking at this. I'm looking at the butter, and I got it. And I just have this byproduct, which is the buttermilk. But when we look at cream of the crop, that is normally the best part of a crop. And that byproduct, we're not really noticing. We're not acknowledging it. We got the butter, we're satisfied, we're moving on. We have this byproduct. And stir the juice. We could look at it as the buttermilk, and we're stirring it. We're just looking at it. What do I do with this? Not acknowledging that it's the cream of the crop, the best part. But it's a byproduct of something that we're not even noticing. Excuse me. So that speaks very strongly on the aspect that, say we were going through a situation, maybe it was a negative situation, and all we have there is the pain, and we're not looking at the byproduct of that pain, is that we woke up to a lot of behaviors that someone else had, or that we need to enforce on ourselves, better boundaries. You know, we wouldn't have learned or experienced anything if we didn't go through that situation, and we're missing the byproduct, the best part of it, instead of sticking, maybe in victimhood of this took place and down on our luck, but really we're missing this huge thing. Or, this could be anything in life. personal relationships, work, housing, Bed Bath and Beyond. So then Cascade, this song, I don't know if anybody heard it, it's Be Still by Cascade with a K. And it's, starts out, be still my soul, be still my soul. And then there's a couple other comments, or I should say lines in it, that are just let it go. And the more we think, the less we know. So this could be a bit of a contradicting statement on everything I just did say in some places. But of course, the more we think, the less we know. That is worrying. Where's all of our energy going into a situation? And that can relate to the pot. I had a message yesterday. I didn't make a video on it yet, but it did speak about the pot. And it was throw it in the pot and let it be what it is. And this resonates with me a lot when I'm cooking and say, I'm talking a huge pot of soup or stew. And what I've learned over time is that when, you put it in the fridge or freeze it and then rewarm it, it tastes so much better because it was given a chance for all the flavors and the ingredients to marry together. And, it enhances the flavor so much more. So let's just say I'm making something right now and I'm trying to get that flavor. I'm chasing this and I keep adding things in here and I'm stirring the pot. I'm trying to control an outcome or create an outcome, and I can't, because I'm not going to get the same result as I do with letting it sit, letting it marry, letting it come together. But I'm trying to control it by stirring the pot. First, allowing things to take place as they may, which is very difficult to do at times. I get that. We try to control an outcome. So the cards I did pull do go a bit more into that in a different way. Oh yeah, during some of my research, for some reason I have to say this, but a Spanish phrase came up, and to be honest, I'm not very good at languages that aren't mine. And I translated it, and it is educate flies, like flies the bug. And what really came through on that is you got to clean your space. Somebody is, and I'm not saying just physically like flies, but we're looking at it as a negative energy, a presence that we don't want around. Maybe it's physical, and we need to clean our space. Maybe it's energetically. Maybe our aura has a tear in it. We're letting in some energies we don't want. So you can't really tell a fly or take them to school and show them, hey, blah, blah, blah. But when you make your space, whether physically in your home or you present yourself that this space is unfit for that energy, it's not going to come in, it won't attach, etc. So presenting yourself or physically cleaning your home, however it may fit, somebody needs to work on that. And it's okay. We all get a little lazy. We all slack. It's not busting your chops, just passing a message along. As far as the cards went, on number one, to be honest, I don't know tarot. Like I know some of the cards, but I'm not going to speak on it. I have an oracle deck, but it does mention tarot, so I'm not going to act like I know what all of them mean. But I can read the word. We got overburdened, witch, 10 of swords, and going with to be or not to be. When I broke that down, we were talking about living. Maybe we're in a really tough place that we're losing a bit of motivation or energy to move forward. We're stuck a little bit, and we are overburdened. What are we overburdened with? Well, we get into the pot, stirring the pot. And when I spoke about stirring the pot, we looked at it two different ways, but we really didn't look at it that we're stirring the pot on us. And then going into the butter, maybe stirring the pot is we're not instigating on anything else, external. Maybe we're beating ourselves up. Beating ourselves up on a way when we look at the butter analogy, and we had that byproduct. So we worked really hard and we got somewhere and we accomplished something, but it's not good enough. And we're holding ourselves back from it, allowing ourselves to enjoy a creation when, we missed the cream of the crop. The cream of the crop could also be a journey. The journey is always part of it. Of course, we wanted to have something as quick as we can, but what's actually taking place in that journey is more powerful than just voila, the end result. There would be no point to it, because what would we experience? Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. So stirring the pot, we had, which just goes with my cooking analogy, excessive control. Queen of Wands reversed. Obviously, if I was saying I'm trying to add all these ingredients and trying to make it taste a certain way that it's not, it's impossible for it to taste that way, because I'm not giving it a chance to work itself out and marry together. I'm trying to control something. This is also goes with stirring the pot. If I'm going to go and I'm going to instigate someone, I'm going to stir them up onto a subject to get a reaction. That reaction could benefit me if I'm doing that. That's a type of control. If we're trying to control everything, obviously, that's what we do most of the time. It's a level of safety. Control is safety led by fear. It makes us feel all safe. And I get that. I'm not taking that away and trying to say, I'll just surrender. It's very difficult to do that, especially if you're going through a hard time. So anyway, excessive control. We get into churning the butter, cream of the crop. We have renewal. 4 of Cups reversed. Renewal. At that point, it's like we're having this epiphany. We worked so hard. We put so much effort into creating this butter. And we have it now. And we're like, oh, okay, great. Now what do I do? Because maybe the whole best part of it was getting to the butter. I mean, I can't really say that. It's pretty labor intensive if you're doing it by hand. But when we're there, we got that juice, the buttermilk. And it's just there. It's like, oh, I got to clean this up. It's like it's a burden to us. We're not seeing it. But we begin to see it when we're stirring the juice. We actually had 2 cards come out with that. We had ambition, Page of Pentacles, and we had discipline, the Emperor. At this point, we're seeing this byproduct as not waste. There's a renewal. We saw a different way. We saw something differently. Everything clicked together. We're going to be moving forward. We're going to be disciplined by it. I don't mean like scold on you, but you're going to be structured in however you're going. You got your plan. You're going to move forward. And as far as that song went, I know this is kind of led in chronological order, but I don't think the song should be involved that way, because it was playing a few different times in my head. But we got overcommitment, 10 of Wands, which, if we're looking at the lyrics, if you know the song, you'd understand. But overcommitment can be seen in so many different ways. And to be, with the song lyric of "Be still, my soul," we are probably not being still. We are probably very anxious about something, worrying, trying to control a situation, trying to create an outcome that we would feel safe in. And going back to the soup, stirring it, trying to create an outcome that we're not going to get. Excuse me. Which can be very unnerving. But until we give it a chance to marry in the fridge or the freezer, give it a chance to come together in its own time, then everything falls into place. Just let it go is another part of that lyric. Let it go. Some things we can't control, which are very difficult to go through. But we're still here. We get through it. Whether alone or together, you're going to be okay. We always will. Sorry I cut a part out there. I probably shouldn't say that. I just want to be a good little boy and follow all the rules like everybody else, right? So with that, if you did see anything different, there's tons of different ways to take all this stuff and however you see it. Happy for you to chime in the comments about how you saw it. Everybody's got a different opinion, and all those come together to make a great one. So with that, have a great day. See ya.